Yep. Thanks very much for doing this, by the way. She wants a bit.
Payment owing.
Yes. So.
Hands in pocket again.
That's cinnamon. I could build that. I'm not saying anything. You are. Nope. Oh, no, I polished his shoes.
No, it's actually different. These are my flashy pair.
Yeah, that's enough now. Look at it again.
Yeah. I'm sure they're sick of us by now.
Red light's not on. It's not doing anything, right?
She's probably been following us the whole time. Hi, Kat.
I guess we one better with that one.
And I'll just get a
The box that I'm going to take out now. Her mum's going to give it to me apparently that I'm going to sort of dish them out or something. I'm not quite sure what's happening. I know, it's just like...
they get there.
Sort of dish them out like mouse. Have you been good? Or?
No lump of coal for you.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah.
Shot of the
Can I do a wedding ceremony first?
Here's a shot. Well, shot specifically for the nan. And two, and one, two, particularly for the nan. One and two, and gotcha.
Oh, that nan's camera.
Yeah. Right there.
I'll run out.
This is your mother's camera. So small, 1, 2. Gotcha.
anyone's crying, I want you to stop the straight away. Someone's got their foot on this. Please, everybody sit. And those at the back, please come forward a little. You can sit on this table here. And those over here, please come.
Sit on that table.
Oh, don't sit on that table. I'll just move these chairs. Just a minute.
It's running low on batteries.
Does everyone put their handkerchiefs away? Send a few over. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Heather Robb, and I'm very, very happy to be able to solemnise this marriage on this wonderful spring afternoon. We're going to start the proceedings today with a reading by Dennis Booth from the Bible, the Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 4 to 8. Thank you.
This is a piece written by the Apostle Paul to the church at Corinth. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, and thinks no evil. Love does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never fails.
Thank you, Dennis. On behalf of Scott Rodney Olsen and Sarah Jane Muir and their families, I welcome all of you to witness their marriage and to share in the happiness on this their wedding day. You have all been invited to share in the joy of this occasion because you are the people who mean the most to Scott and Sarah. Today, as they take their marriage vows, they are pleased that you are here to give them love and support. I call upon each person here present to be fellow witnesses with me in this marriage between them. We are here not only to witness their commitment to each other, but also to wish them every happiness for their life together. Scott and Sarah believe marriage is a union, a partnership, but most of all a friendship, a genuine, intimate sharing of two individual lives whose love for each other is true, intimate, and forever growing. A marriage that endures is a deep and loving relationship that is continually developing while the partners grow in their understanding of and compassion for one another. Scott and Sarah believe they possess these attributes and that together they will create a home in which they will be able to realise their aspirations and where you, their family and their friends will be welcome and find peace and support. However, Please note that bookings are essential. I would now like to call on Desiree Booth to do the reading The Art of Marriage by Wilfred Arlen Peterson.
A good marriage must be created. In marriage, the little things are the big things. It is never being too old to hold hands. It is remembering to say I love you at least once a day. It is never going to sleep angry. It is having a mutual sense of values and common objectives. It is standing together and facing the world. It is forming a circle of love that gathers in the whole family. It is speaking words of appreciation and demonstrating gratitude in thoughtful ways. It is having the capacity to forgive and forget. It is giving each other an atmosphere in which each can grow. It is a common search for the good and the beautiful. It is not only marrying the right person, it is being the right partner. Thank you.
And now, into the state of marriage, this young couple come to be united. But first, I would like to ask Paul and Cheryl, Sarah's mum and dad, will you now give your blessings to this marriage of your daughter, to Sarah, to Scott Olsen? And now, Rod and Desiree, will you now give your blessings to your marriage of your son? They're thinking about this. Scott, to Sarah Muir. Before you, Scott, and you, Sarah, are joined together in my presence and in the presence of these, your family and your friends, I am bound to remind you publicly of the solemn, the serious and the binding nature of the relationship into which you are about to enter. Would you give me back hand? Please face Scott and hold Scott, do you take Sarah to be your lawfully wedded wife? Will you love her, comfort her, honour and keep her in sickness and health?
I do.
Sarah, do you take Scott to be your lawfully wedded husband? Will you love him, comfort him, honour and keep him in sickness and in health? These rings are circles without end. Having been placed on your fingers with mutual consent, they become symbols that the two of you have consented in wedlock, and that you have pledged your faith, love and affection, each to the other, for the rest of your life. May such faith, love and affection be as endless as the circles of these rings. Would you hold Sarah's hand and please repeat after me. I, Scott.
I, Scott.
Take you.
Take two.
Take you, Sarah.
I, Scott, take you, Sarah,
To be my lawfully wedded wife.
to be my lawfully wedded wife,
To have and to hold.
to have and to hold,
To love and to cherish.
to love and to cherish,
For richer, for poorer.
for richer, for poorer,
From this day forward.
from this day forward,
Until death us do part.
until death do us part. Yep.
Yeah, it's just tied. Look at Ah.
So sweet.
Sarah, I give you this ring
Sarah, I give you this ring
to symbolise my love,
to symbolise my love
as I take you for my wife.
as I take you for my wife. We give you the tiniest little kiss.
Now, Sarah. I, Sarah, take you, Scott.
I, Sarah, take you, Scott,
To be my lawfully wedded husband.
to be my lawfully wedded husband,
To have and to hold.
to have and to hold,
To love and to cherish.
love and to cherish,
For richer, for poorer.
for richer, for poorer,
From this day forward.
from this day forward,
Until death do us part.
until death.
Scott, I give you this ring
Scott, this is
symbolise my love as I take you forward. I would now like to call on Britta Fischler to do a reading, The Ways of Love by Elizabeth Barrett Browning.
How do I love you? Let me count the ways. I love you to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach, when feeling out of sight for the ends of being an ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And, if God choose, I shall but love thee better on.
Scott and Sarah, you have made these sacred promises to each other. You have symbolised these by the joining of hands, taking vows, and with the exchanging of rings. So we now come to the happiest time in the ceremony, when it gives me very much pleasure to pronounce you husband and wife. May you treasure this trust and responsibility and live full and rich lives. Now, Scott, kiss your bride. Now I'd like to call on the parents to please come forward and wish them all the best right now. Please stand please. Come on, all of you. No, don't sit down, please. Don't sit down. No, up here. Please don't sit down for a moment. Would you come up to sit?
Yeah, just a little bit more that way so we get less of that table.
Oh, nice.
My work here is done. Another one next to it.
Okay, pretend to be happy, come on. All right. That's it. For me, so I can get rid of the table, maybe it looks a little bit better. So,
You want them to step back?
no, it's okay. Just, let's see. I got the white angle. I can get the
Watch the dress, Scott.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's nice. Can still look happy. Okay. Yep. Okay, that was much. Okay. Okay.
All the parents out.
Because I got that big That's it.
Yes. The brother. Yes.
Say the same things.
Yeah, go for it.
Sit down. Sit down.
Okay, girls, boys.
Is that right?
I'm sorry. I'll fall for this. Rather than you leave, maybe I should. I wouldn't. If everything's going to
That's all right, guys. Oh, you're going to leave it, mate? Yes, I did.
That's not good. Okay? So, Sarah! I forgot your name. Here we go.
That's good, Derek.
Thank you very much.
How are you, Lil?
I don't need to sign something. Okay.
Come on, have a look. What are they going to do? One of them alone, if you don't mind.
Suspiciously like the alligator just to
That's not just come back by 6:30. Completely like that? Do you want it? No, you want to look at me like that, or you just the back? I'll do one of it. I usually do the back shot, but with the flower like that, just looks nice.
Break the camera.
on the fence.
On this 20th day of October, in the year 2000, at Panorama House at Fullide Thompson, it's been very much a pleasure to introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Scott and Sarah Olsen.
Come on, closer. Let's see. Where are they? And it wasn't too bad. Come on, all together. Wait, look. Not up here, Mum. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Come on, girls. Bubbles.
Stop working.
It's got the same
I'm forever blowing bubbles.
Oh, that was very good. Just come on a little bit more. That's it. That's it. I like it. Beautiful. The bubble is okay.
We're all finished. Anyone that wants to wish them all the best, you better come forward
Very
quickly.
quickly. You got 3 seconds, then we go.
I see. Okay.
Do you want to kiss people now or?
Sorry.
If they want to. That's giving me. We got time.
You don't go away. No, no.
Cheryl's kid.
I hope
Give you a hug.
You always get emotional. These times. No. This was nice. Should take a
Hang on.
You got to fight for me.
Yes.
My big sister.
I'm holding your hand. Sorry for running away with you.
Desiree, what are you doing over here?
She's trying to work out how. Thanks for 38 of all people. See you a bit later.
don't even say this.
Long time no see. Thanks, lady.
Down the edge, but that's straight over there.
Let's change the hair on your head.
Well, everywhere else is
for you.
Good stuff. It's lovely to see you along. You've been 6 years.
Actually,
Oh, you're serious, huh?
You got me there. Oh, God, she's a hard woman.
I don't want to know. It's your play. You're wrong, dude.
Please make welcome the bridal party. Firstly, we have bridesmaid Chantal Curell and groomsman Jason Featherson. Give them a round of applause. Some cheeky music as they strut in. Next bridesmaid Tiffany Muir and groomsman Glenn Mitchell. Next maid of honour Christy Muir and best man Chris Olsen. Finally, you can make as much noise as you like and cheer at the top of your voices for the newlyweds. Scott and Sarah. An entry and a half, there never will be one. Sit back and relax, enjoy the beautiful view out the window, watch the sunset come in and the lights of Wollongong come on below. Just one other thing. Scott and Sarah, a very romantic couple. There's a few mums and aunts. Oh, someone down here's got the right idea.
Thanks, Carl. Well, good evening, everybody, from Cheryl and myself, and thank you for joining us to celebrate the marriage of Sarah and Scott. It is our pleasure to welcome Scott into our family. Some people say you just can't help bad luck. He's a good chocolate eater, but we only order after dinner mint type chocolate now, because he doesn't like peppermint chocolate. Cheryl and I believe Sarah and Scott are an ideal match, and we are pleased to see Sarah so happy. Our pride and love for Sarah is very evident today. I'm sure you'll agree Sarah looks most beautiful in her wedding gown, and we managed to get Scott into something other than a t-shirt. He looks very smart. Indeed, we're very proud of all our girls. Chrissy and Tiffany as bridesmaids, together with their niece Chantel. It is obvious Grandma and Nana are also very proud. We wish Sarah and Scott every happiness in their future together, and we'd ask you to raise your glasses and toast the bride and groom. To the bride and groom, Sarah and Scott.
Thank you very much, Paul. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please put...
Thanks, Carl. I always thought that being the father of the groom means you didn't have to do a speech at all. Thanks, Scotty. Sarah, we're thrilled to have you join the family. The two of you look beautiful tonight. We're really, really chuffed. I was going to bring along a little photo for show and tell tonight. It was when Chris was 2 and Scott was 5. But when I brought it out and showed it to Chris and said it was all right, he didn't really think it was a good idea. But they make a terrific couple, and it's good to see all of the family here together. Really grateful for all the people that have travelled so far, and especially for my dad making the effort, for Judith's dad making the effort, and for Auntie Nell, Auntie Sis, for all of you to come together and share this with us tonight. We're really, really thrilled. Scotty and Sarah, I know you're going to be really happy. As the man says in the movie, this is true love. It doesn't happen every week. Congratulations.
And to speak on behalf of the bridal table, we have these two fine gentlemen here, Glenn and Fedo, because he doesn't really answer to Jason. Has somebody got a coin we can toss? They're just having a bit of a...
It's okay, I'll toss.
The first thing I need to do is read out a few telegrams I've got from a few people. Dear Scott and Sarah, I've known Scott for 12 years and I wish that I could be there today. I always thought that I'd be the person picking his wife, so I was a bit miffed when he went out and did it himself. But he made an excellent choice and I couldn't have done better myself. So we'd like to wish them all the best for the future. Kathy, Brett and James. Dear Scott and Sarah, although I'm having a wonderful time in London, watching the Olympics made me homesick and wish I was back in Australia, but not as much as I wish I could be there today for your wedding. Much love, Kajal. To the happy couple. Ever since the amethyst ring, I knew this was coming. If I was there, I would have serenaded the two of you, but I won't make Glenn embarrass himself. So go home, put on a Barry White CD, take out the chocolate sauce and think of me. Kisses, roses and sweetness. Dear Scott and Sarah, wishing you all the best from the other side of the world. I wish you every happiness that living with a loved one gives. Love, Jody. Okay, all the speech has been so short so far, so I figure I better do something about that. It's my turn to speak for a while. When I first met Scott, it was 8 years ago now, he had one true love by then. Food. He's the only person I've ever met who can run the city search in under half an hour, assuming there's a baked lasagna at the end of the track. His standard snack, he'd come home from uni and have a bowl of pasta. That bowl of pasta is normally designed to serve 4 people, but he'd get through with no problems. If you ever couldn't find him in Canberra, there were only 2 places you'd ever bother looking. First was Kingsley's Chicken, the second was the opening Pizza Hut. In fact, Pizza Hut is my first interesting story, so let's go. You see, let me set the scene. There were 10 of us there. We just had a hard day at uni. Probably playing touch football more likely than actually studying. But anyway, we had a hard day at uni. And we look up at the table and there's one slice of pizza left. Scott turns and he runs. Now, I've told you already how fast Scott can be when there's food at the other end. He sprints for the pizza, but just as he reaches for it, this girl steps up in his way. And it's a girl he's actually quite interested in at the time. Well, so Scott turns, he looks at her, he looks at the pizza, and he says, "Excuse me, but between you and the pizza at the moment, the pizza's looking more attractive." Not surprisingly, Scott got the pizza because I'd fallen over laughing at the time, but he didn't get the girl. This never worried Scott though. He had his food, he was happy. You see, we'd go on picnics at times, and there would Scott be. He'd be lying on the rug, a look of complete happiness on his face. He'd sigh contentedly and say, "There's nothing like cuddling up to a warm chicken." At the end of uni, both Scott and I moved to Sydney. We both took jobs in Sydney. We lived in the eastern suburbs. We did a lot of things together. We learnt German together. We played tennis together. In fact, he even named his tennis racket after me. He called it the Glenn Mitchell Destroyer. It didn't help him at all, but that's what he called it. We also ate an amazing amount of Indian curry, which is one of the things I thank Scott for. He's introduced me to a very healthy love of Indian curry. What's going on too? Okay. Most of this first year that we spent in Sydney, Scott and Sarah are actually my two best friends. We spend all our time together, the three of us spend a lot of time together. I'd see Scott a lot during the week. Sarah lived a lot further south than we did, so generally I caught up with her on weekends. But we spent a lot of time together and we had a wonderful time. At the end of that year, I realised that suddenly it wasn't the three of us, that the two of them seemed to be hanging out a lot together by themselves. So it was about this time that I noticed that there's something different about Scott. He was changing slightly. You see, when we're at uni, he would pick up a piece of asparagus, have a bite on it and say, "Hang on, this bean tastes funny." His housemate once picked up a piece of capsicum and was threatening with, I don't want to know why his housemate was threatening with a piece of capsicum. And he said, "Stop doing that with a pumpkin." And Scott wasn't very good at his healthy foods, but he was improving. In fact, today was a special occasion for Scott. In fact, he was so preoccupied with the wedding today that he forgot about lunch. So that's just saying how much a difference Sarah's made on Scott. The final clincher that I knew something was going on was when one day we walked past a Magnum shop. I offered Scott a Magnum and he said no. Now that has never happened in 8 years of knowing Scott. Obviously there was something changing. So we knew it wouldn't be long before we'd be gathered in a place such as this. That there were subtle signs that this would happen. That one of the subtle things you pick up when you're a good friend is that the couple starts buying things together. Scott and Sarah bought a house. They said no, they weren't going to live there until after they were married. But they weren't engaged yet, so that was a strange idea, but anyway. So here we are today, and I think it's wonderful that they're married now. It's fantastic. They're two great people. They're such a good couple. They're so fun to be with. They're excellent. I thank Scott a lot for giving me the chance to talk. I'm not officially the best man. Chris is the best man today, but you see, Scott gave a speech at my wedding, and he was so mean to me in that speech. He wanted to give me the chance to get back at him, so I'm just taking a quick chance to get back at Scott just a little. But really, when I told people that I was making the speech at the wedding, every single person I spoke to gave an example of something that I should say. There are so many things that you can say about Scott. I could really go on for hours here. In fact, one suggestion was that I should go on for hours because Scott always does. The one thing I want to say is that everyone who's met Scott or has had something to do with him has had such a positive experience out of it. There is always something they'll remember and think back on how Scott did something that was fun and good to be with. My personal little Scott story is slightly different. At the end of our first year of uni, Scott and I were both doing engineering, and at the time I was doing computer science and he was doing physics. And we were talking about what subjects we were going to do in the next year. And as I thought about it, I chose to do physics, which was also what Scott was doing. And the reason I did that was mainly so we could be together. I thought uni would be so much more fun if we could do the same subjects. He makes uni so much more enjoyable. So I'd like to say a quick toast to the happy couple, Scott and Sarah.
Yes, I'll coax Chris into a few short words.
A few short words. Basically, I'd just like to propose a toast to Scott and Sarah. I haven't known Sarah very long, but I've known Scott for a little over 24 years now. Oh, bridesmaids, sorry. I just thought I'd make a little impromptu speech, just to lighten things up a bit. So, say to the bridesmaids. I think I was looking very nice tonight. And yes, to the bridesmaids, Christy, Tiffany and Chantel. So just propose a toast to them.
Yes, we'll have to get him something stronger than orange juice. I noticed the boys were on the mobile phone before, and including Scott. So I hope we did feed you well enough here tonight, and we're not going to expect any pizzas coming through the doorway shortly. We've had some gossip from the boys, now some gossip from the girls. Please make welcome Christy Muir.
Well, I'd just like to say firstly that from what I know of Scott, or what I have known of Scott, his whole life doesn't revolve around food, despite of what we just heard this morning.
It's golf.
I will be fairly brief, bear with me for about 3 or 4 minutes. Almost 4 years ago, Sarah and Scott first bumped into each other in New Zealand on a Kentucky bus. Sarah bravely and shyly joined a Kentucky trip by herself and befriended Scott and many of his engineering friends that were also on the trip. So here's their little story for those who are otherwise uninformed. We take off from their meeting on the bus. Love at first sight, I hear you all sigh, but assumptions are dangerous, so don't even try. Sarah's eyes were glued to another, and so she returned single and he went for cover. March 97, she fished her catch from the sea and left Scott swimming, single and free. Alas, the good-looking fish was not meant to be, and Sarah swam singly back into the sea. Quickly another sprang to the chase, proclaiming his love to Sarah's unreciprocated face. Over a game of golf, Scott chatted with this guy, who questioned, "How's Sarah?" Scott said he'd cry. "Platonic friends, that's all," she said, till I almost caught them kissing, their faces were red. By Christmas 97, they were a pair, but few knew this secret that they wouldn't share. 4 months later, the public was told, "This is my boyfriend, whose hand I can hold." Adventures and trips were soon to come. Cairns was the first, a holiday in the sun. In Tassie, they ate chocolate until they were sick, and then filled their pockets in a manner so quick. Then in 30-degree heat, they climbed the cradle, because Elena said she'd done it, but that was just a fable. In Darwin, the Loch Ness Monster bit Sarah on the feet, so that was the end of their swimming, despite the heat. In Kakadu, they flew high through the air, and on camping trips, they were a happy little pair. In Katoomba, Scott first saw Sarah in a bikini, and after that, he never wanted to do the Houdini. Hypothermia almost got them on the Central Coast, and in the Hunter Valley, they shared a toast. The climax they came on Lake Burley Griffin, and no, they weren't there to just go fishing. Scott pulled out a ring on a blue paddle boat, and then he proceeded, clearing his throat. "Marry me," he said, and Sarah agreed that they should be wed. So this last story ends in marriage. Now we all await the baby in the carriage. Scott and Sarah, may your love be eternal and your lives filled with an abundance of happiness. So I'd like to make my toast not necessarily to Scott and Sarah, but to love and happiness. Love and happiness. Thank you.
Now I know Scott and Sarah are a loving couple. One of the first things they said to me when they walked in here tonight is, "Can we do it together up here?" And I said, "Sure, as the guests don't mind." Please make welcome both Scott and Sarah as they respond to their kind words.
Dressing, Sarah.
Slide song. Okay, how to start? I won't comment on the speeches you've already heard. We're going to leave that to the lawyers. I'm going to let Sarah do a lot of the thank yous, but I wanted to say one first. Sarah's put an incredible number of hours into the wedding. She's done heaps, like little place cards, all calligraphy by Sarah, and the designing of the wedding invitations and the what's that thing everybody reads in the wedding? Order of service, that's it. And on the wedding cake, the little cross-stitch decorations down there. So she's really put in a phenomenal amount of time. Anybody who's thinking of getting married, it's really a bad time to go all modern and offer to help out. It's a hell of a lot of work. We haven't had any Saturday nights off since July. But no, I really want to say thanks to Sarah. She put heaps of efforts in.
There's a number of people that we'd like to thank tonight. Firstly, Grandma, give a wave, for making the wedding cake and the fruit cake and the ring pillow. Now, Scott and I had one of our first disagreements during the planning, and that was the cake. I wanted fruit cake and Scott wanted a chocolate cake. And Grandma made the cake, and I got the fruit cake. However, I'd like to give Scott this chocolate cake so he does not miss out. Also, I'd like to thank Annie Robbins for doing the cake. She's done for decorating the cake. She's done a fantastic job. The number of hours that went into that, doing the icing, etc. It's lovely. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Blaine McGregor for being head chauffeur. He drove us down this afternoon and also helped us out with the order of service. I'd also like to thank Warren for he drove the bridesmaids in the Land Cruiser. And also Dennis and Desiree and Britta down the back for doing the readings during the ceremony. You did a great job. Thank you. There's a lot. Natalie for doing the videoing. Thank you very much. Also, Sandra over here. She made all these lovely dresses, mine and the bridesmaids, and spent hours and done a fantastic job. We'd also like to thank Heather Robb in the front here for marrying us. We enjoyed it tonight. Yep. Also, Yvonne and Alana for doing a few odd jobs for us. Thank you very much. And the bridesmaids, thank Christy. She spent a lot of time doing, cooking and various things around the house and to free us up for time to spend on planning, etc. Thank you very much. Also Tiffany for doing heaps of odd jobs and taking time out of your own wedding plans. And finally Chantel for taking the day off from the HSC. I'd also like to thank Beto, Chris and Glenn for being Scott's groomsmen. You've done a wonderful job and you look really good. I'd also like to thank my parents for all their hard work. fixing up the house after we trashed it. They came up Sunday and spent hours fixing up the garden, cleaning the house. It looks a lot better now. It's been especially tough for Mum and Dad because of being up at Katoomba. Mum had to come down a lot and help me out, which was great. And that left poor Dad up in the motel, looking after it on his own, which was hard for him. Thank you very much. Yes, Scott and I really appreciate the amount of effort and time you put into today. Thank you. So I'd like to thank Rod and Judith for their support. And many thanks to everyone here and anyone else we failed to mention. I'm sure there's somebody. Thanks for making our day special. Finally, I'd like to thank Scott for trying to keep me calm throughout the busy period. It's been hard. Scott has also put a lot of time and effort into the wedding, doing lots of things. Thank you very much. Scott's a great person. He's funny. Although after you hear the same joke 10 times. He's fun, loving, sensitive, thoughtful, and extremely positive and happy person. Who wouldn't want to spend the rest of their lives with him?
Well, I'm a little while, so just a little bit more and we'll finish. I'd of course like to say I'm very glad Sarah agreed to meet me. She knew of my knitting habits and she'd seen the state of my bedroom. Well, that taken years and years of my parents trying and my former flatmates like Derek and Cap to fix it up and it hadn't gone anywhere. And she's changed me. Sometimes the fact I can label vegetables and eat them shocks my parents so much they're not sure it's me anymore. Sarah's not only like eats healthy and everything, she's neat and organised. Sometimes she's so organised she sounds like my granddad. But she does have some good points. She's a shock about it. She always smiles, except in the last month or two to the wedding planning. Oh, I see. I'm afraid you and she's it. Yes, and I'm very, very glad that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with her. And very, very last, as Dad already ripped off half my speech, I'd like to thank everybody who's come from a long way. Sarah Landy Beryl from Melbourne. Oh, sorry, wrong table. Mr. Berkel's and I was from Brisbane. From the South Coast, Auntie Nellie and David and Karen. And oh yeah, that's right, about 20 people from Canberra, and Mum and Dad and Trammy Campers from Darwin, but they had to come, they didn't have a choice. And everybody from coming down all the way down here, even though a whole bunch of boring Canberraites would be here. So thanks a lot, we've had a really great night.
I know you
You'd be like a thing to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has gone, and I've gotta run. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. On the way that I stare, there's nothing else to compare. The sight of you is new. There are no words left to speak, but if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to
after their wonderful spontaneous efforts, Scott and Sarah have set the standard for the evening. I'd like to